Hello, my beautiful souls. Welcome to Spiritual Bloom, where we bloom within our consciousness. With your mentor and spiritual guide and twin flame coach, Neha. I welcome you in today's episode because we will be covering a very important topic. In the first part, I had described in the first part of the episode about the nervous system, that what is nervous system and how does it affect a spiritual journey and how to balance it. And I told you guys that I'll be bringing parts of it in different episode. So this is going to be the second part. As you all know, due to the demise of my father, I could not make the series of episodes as I promised you previously regarding the nervous system. The first part has already been uploaded. You can go into my channel and watch it. This is going to be the second part. So in the second part, we will be talking about how does the nervous system regulation, in the twin flame journey, how does it affect us and how to balance it. So this aspect of healing the nervous system is very important, but many times we overlook it. We concentrate on the bigger details instead of concentrating on the minute details like this. Nervous system is directly related to your anxiety. It is directly related to your hormones. It is directly related to how you behave and balance your energy as well. So, as we all know that a twin flame connection is a very strong soul connection. So, in that way, your twin flame always shows you a mirror, as you all know. But in this case, if your nervous system is dysregulated, it can push your twin flame away. That is also one of the reasons when you are not in a very calm state of mind, when your soul is not at peace, is not at freedom, that is the time when you are operating from a chaotic energy. And from where does that chaotic energy come? That chaotic energy comes from your nervous system. Because your nervous system is dysregulated, disrupted, it does not know how to behave, and it shows in the physical through your behavior, through feeling distorted, feeling dysfunctional. And because your nervous system is not regulated properly, you are not in a calm state of mind, and it is creating a lot of chaos even in your life and in your behavior. That is the reason why it pushes away your twin flame and you start chasing them and they start running away from you. So let me give you again a brief description of what a nervous system regulation really is. As I have already described in details in the first part, so just let me give you a gist about what nervous system regulation actually is. Your nervous system is your body's internal safety system. It determines whether you feel safe or threatened, calm or anxious, and connected or withdrawn. So when regulated, when your nervous system is regulated, when it is in balance, you feel grounded, present, and open. And when it is not functioning properly and it is dysregulated, you feel overwhelmed, anxious, obsessed with your counterpart, emotionally reactive, or you completely shut down and detach. And that detachment is not a healthy detachment. So when it is dysregulated, you often feel overwhelmed. Any kind of emotions you are not being able to balance in such situations. you become anxious, you get panic attacks or anxiety attacks, and you start obsessing over this journey, over your counterpart, not knowing that this obsession is codependency and not a uh, healthy relation, or you can say healthy love. And you become emotionally reactive, meaning you listen to react. You don't listen to somebody to apply it in your life. Even if 10 mentors tell you that a certain thing is wrong in your journey, or you are doing something wrong, or you are stuck in your journey for a particular reason, you will not listen because you want to apply it on your journey. You will listen because you will become emotionally reactive. Reactive in the sense, either you might uh, feel revengeful or feel like I'm fed up of this journey and I don't want to do it anymore. All the mentors are lecturing me, right? So that is emotional reaction. But the positive reaction would be applying those methods, those advices that you got from different mentors or your own personal mentor, and actually applying it in your life and seeing the difference. Another thing also happens when you're dysregulated is you completely shut down and you come into detachment. But this detachment is not a healthy detachment. This detachment comes from ego. This detachment comes from anger and frustration towards this journey and towards your counterpart. And in the twin flame journey, if you don't balance this, the nervous system problem, it gets amplified and it gets worse. It pushes your counterpart far instead of bringing your counterpart or your soul connection into union. So before understanding that why this in twin flame journey this nervous system has to be regulated, you have to understand that why your twin flame triggers you, right? We all have been there. We all have done the inner work possible just because we want to achieve inner union and become one with divine. But before achieving that, we also have to understand why does our counterpart trigger, and what is the purpose of getting that trigger again and again. So always remember that your twin flame is not just your lover, as I have told you many times, and I'll keep on reminding you that they are your mirror. Just like they reflect good parts of you, they will also reflect the bad and the negative parts of you. For example, your wounds, your fears of abandonment, your need for validation, or your unresolved trauma. So when they come close, your nervous system can go into survival mode. And in that survival mode, you may have reactions like fight, anger, conflict, or you might feel like avoiding or running away, or you feel like withdrawing from the journey, from your counterpart, and remaining silent, or losing yourself and completely people pleasing in the sense pleasing your counterpart, and it can be pleasing people around you also. People pleasing just does not limit to your counterpart. When it comes to people pleasing in a divine journey like this, you people please even the karmics around you until the time you don't realize it that you are doing it wrong. So these triggers are necessary, and that's why this connection, at one moment it feels like heaven and the other moment it feels like chaos, because you need to understand that the mirror that your counterpart is showing is for you to reflect within yourself and bring yourself into absolute balance. That is why your nervous system goes into survival mode. Have you noticed whenever you meet your counterpart, if you have ever met them, or you always come into reunion and you get an opportunity of meeting them, whenever you meet them, the energy changes around you, if you have noticed. I'm telling this through my experience. Whenever I had a conversation with my counterpart, it feels very easy. But when in the physical realm I meet him, or I meet my counterpart, the energy is absolutely different. It's not that I hate him, or it's not that I dislike him or carrying any kind of anger for the way or for the things that he did with me or behaved with me, knowingly or unknowingly. That space feels void. Certain kind of silence grows. You just feel like withdrawing in their presence. So your nervous system goes into survival mode. That happens when your nervous system is not regulated, when it is not healed. So when you don't heal, when you don't come into inner union with yourself, with divine, that happens, and that is normal. So the real reason separation happens is, we all know why separation happens. We all know that it's not a punishment and it is a protection. So when one or both nervous systems are overwhelmed, the connection becomes too intense to sustain. So instead of union, the system chooses distance. That's why I'm talking about the meeting scene as an example. If you have met, or this applies even in cases if you are in communication with your counterpart. You must have observed that when you are in communication and suddenly things starts flowing very casually yet nicely, there's no burden, there's no blockage, your communication is smooth, both of you are expressing, and you feel like things are going good. But as soon as after few days or weeks, it starts getting intense, like that love feels intense, the commitment feels intense. That is the time when the counterpart or you choose distance. Mostly it's the counterpart, because the nervous systems are not regulated, so it feels overwhelmed and it becomes difficult to sustain that connection when it gets too intense. Not because love is not there, because the body doesn't feel safe. Feeling safe is very important when it comes to your nervous system regulation in this journey. When you don't feel safe around your counterpart, or when you don't feel safe communicating with your counterpart, that is the time your nervous system needs healing, and it needs to be balanced. Otherwise, it is going to remain the same thing no matter how much inner work you do. That is the reason in their presence you don't feel safe. You don't feel safe because your vibration needs to be healed. Your frequency is not matching. Both needs healing. That's why the separation is created. That's why the distance is created. That's why you both feel uncomfortable even though being in communication, or sometimes even meeting physically. So why am I talking about nervous regulation so much? Why it is the key? Why nervous system? Why nervous regulation is the key? Even in psychology, even many psychiatrists, psychology, counselors, they always talk about nervous system. And at the end of this video, I will also tell you that how my physical body went through so much problem while healing the nervous system. So the regulation is the key, is that that union doesn't come from chasing, right? It comes from regulating, from understanding your wounds, your problems, your intentions, how to set them, how to bring into balance. So when you regulate your nervous system, you stop reacting impulsively. That's why I said you don't listen to react. You listen to apply it in your life. You listen to understand. You listen to understand that where you are going wrong, or you listen just because you have to listen, and you become empathetic towards the other person's feelings, conditions, or circumstances. That is why regulation of the nervous system is important. Secondly, you create emotional safety for yourself first. Instead of seeking that emotional safety from your counterpart or through this journey, you start creating emotional safety for yourself. You start healing your inner child and telling that child that you are safe in this environment, you are safe with me, you are safe without any counterpart, and you are safe without this journey too. Thirdly, you detach from fear-based patterns. Any kind of circumstances or any kind of person that brings fear, remorse, or who makes you feel unsafe, you will cut that person out. You will detach from that situation, that work environment, or from that person. It will not match your vibration, your energy at all. And fourthly, you become grounded in yourself. That's why regulation is very important. And when all these things happens, that is the time when the entire twin flame journey dynamic it changes. Because always remember, your twin flame doesn't respond to your words, they respond to your energy. No matter how many long paragraphs you write them through text, or you call them, or you cry for them, they will not understand. Because the main play here is in the 5D. The play is not here in the 3D. They understand your energy. They don't understand your words. They understand your telepathy. They don't understand your words in this physical realm. Because you and your counterpart are already tied up in the 5D. So the main aim is to work for the 5D, not for the 3D. That's why you have to bring a shift in your energy. You have to bring a shift in your vibration, your frequency. So how do we do this? Like how to regulate your nervous system being in this journey, or even if you are in a normal spiritual journey, how to regulate your nervous system? By doing breath works. I have always told you, always try to do breath work. Just doing meditation will not help. Every morning try to do breath work, slow deep breathing signals. It provides safety to your body. They get a signal that you are safe. So breath work is very important. Secondly, grounding by walking barefoot in grass, or even at home. Just don't wear your slippers, your shoes. Connect with nature and try to feel your body, especially if you can walk near the beaches. If your house is in such a place where beaches are around, you're very lucky. Everybody don't get that opportunity. If you have a garden, go walk there. Walk barefoot. It needs to be grounded. Thirdly, awareness. Always be aware in your journey. Notice your triggers without reacting immediately. That reaction is what we have to control. The main aim is to control that reaction. Many people, I told you, they get aggressive. They want to reply. They listen to reply. They don't listen to understand. That is the problem with everyone. You have to be calm and composed and listen to understand, to apply it in your life. And fourthly, self-soothing. Like instead of seeking your counterpart to calm you, you have to learn to calm yourself on your own. That's why I say no. Soul freedom, spirit freedom is important. You have to reach that soul freedom so that you are not dependent on anybody, that he or she will come and calm me down, or I'm emotionally dependent on that person. No, you can't do that. And fifth is boundaries. Anything that feels unsafe, any person, any circumstances, just detach from that kind of person or circumstances and protect your energy. Because nervous system regulation, it requires space, it requires time, and it also requires self-respect. You should have enough self-respect within you not to tolerate anything around you that is bothering you or that makes you feel unsafe and uncomfortable. So, union in this journey is not about finding your other half, It's always about becoming whole within yourself first. That's why I always tell you all. First, search yourself, understand yourself, sit with yourself. Until and unless you don't find yourself, you are never going to find your counterpart. You are never going to come into union with your counterpart. That is a lie. Because when your nervous system feels safe, when you feel safe within yourself, you stop chasing love and you start embodying it. You know that you are sufficient and whole all by yourself. That's why you stop chasing it, because your inner child feels safe with you. You feel safe with yourself. Your spirit feels safe with yourself. So if you are on a twin flame journey and things feels intense, don't just focus on them. Come back to your body, come back to your breath, come back to your nervous system. Heal your nervous system. Nobody in this, I have come across many YouTube channels. Nobody is going to tell you how to heal your nervous system. Nobody will talk about healing the nervous system. They will talk about healing your chakras. They will talk about healing through Reiki. I'm not saying that is bad. That is also good. But internally, if your nervous system is malfunctioning, is not in a proper order, how will you heal yourself? Because that regulation of nervous system only is the foundation of everything. If you get hold of how to heal your nervous system, if you get hold of what are the problems that your body is going through mentally, physically, because of that nervous system being dysregulated, that is the time you will understand your body, your mind, your spirit, and you can start working on it. And gradually your nervous system will respond. But it needs time and patience. So, if this episode resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for listening, for tuning in, and for supporting my channel. Please keep on supporting me. I will bring another episode on nervous system only, but that will be my experience as to how, being a twin, I regulated my nervous system. I could have added in this episode, but it would be too long. So I want to explain it in detail as to what are the sufferings that I had to go through, my body had to go through, just to maintain balance and get hold of my nervous system regulation in this journey. I hope you like this episode. For personal guidance, you can WhatsApp or email me. My contact details are given in the description box and in the video also. Thank you for listening to me. I'll see you soon again in another episode.